The sweet aromas of the apple fritter, cinnamon roll, and blueberry muffin are hard to resist. So making it home without reaching in your McDonald's bag is no easy task. But nothing worth doing is easy. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating McDonald's.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net. Check out the Weedsman Podcast, Tuesdays and Fridays on iTunes and ChristopherMedia.net. Christopher Media, let's make some noise.
Aaron, should I hit the record button? Yes, other Aaron. Yes, you should.
I finally got some more perspective on that situation the other day. I saw the episode where he killed Katya.
Yeah.
To get back at Archer.
Yeah, wasn't that when he? Is that the episode where he's running away in the tracksuit laughing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, I guess I am really behind on Archer.
Dude, the one I watched today. Had.
I think that's like season 2.
They had the Ask Archer or Dear Archer little skits in the commercials where people supposedly write him letters, and the one was a chick writing him saying, "I think you're really hot. What do I got to do to hook up with you?" And he's like, "Well, if you're as hot as I am, just be in the vicinity of wherever I happen to be." And then he has some rule. He says, if you feel like you have to pass gas, because when you do it my way, you probably will. Make sure you do so through a dryer sheet. You'll find them in the nightstand. That's brilliant.
Dude, the writing on that show was just insane.
Yeah.
Like, I hope they've been recognized for something by somebody.
Well, they keep bringing them back.
True. Season 7.
The first few seasons, I was like, oh, God, please let there be another season. I don't think people didn't catch on to it right away, and I was like, I hope this just doesn't go away.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, I'm late to the party on a lot of TV shows. Like, I didn't find 30 Rock till, like, season 5. I didn't discover Parks and Rec until, like, season 4.
Yeah.
It took me 3 seasons to finally get into Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, but there's so much shit out there. I mean, first of all, you can binge watch most of it, and, I mean, how can you keep up with everything? I do that with plenty of shows. I'm like, it doesn't look that interesting. And I'm already watching all these other shows, and I just don't have the time for it. But then you find out how cool something is, and you're like, oh, fuck it. I'm going to go back and watch the last 3 seasons and catch up.
Yeah, I know. Anyway. Like, I'm going to be excited to have Netflix again. It's going to be awesome.
Especially with all that Marvel shit.
Christopher Media, let's make some noise. From Asthmacore Studios near Detroit, Michigan, it's Unregimented.
Gangsters, what's up, guys?
120? That just sounds like a lot when you say it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Chris.
I'm Aaron.
I'm Rich.
God damn, 120.
We're there.
That's quite a few.
I know, right? We're just now getting to, like, a year ago, like, when you joined. If you go back, like, a year, because I only have a year's worth of episodes in the feed, it's, like, right around when you joined. It's crazy.
Yeah, because then we passed the year anniversary of the Great Flood.
Yeah, I saw that the other day. I was like, oh, that was the day Rich first came over.
The 5-hour trek that should have took, it usually takes 25 to 30 minutes tops. That was ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, I remember what you're talking about.
It was the same day that fucking Robin Williams took himself out.
And then didn't you get pulled over on the way home?
Yeah, it was just a trifecta suck for me.
Yeah, that was an eventful day.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of Twitter activity on the anniversary of Robin Williams' death.
Yeah, I've seen some, bitching back and forth, people starting the whole,
oh, really?
Fuck him, he killed himself.
Oh,
fuck
God.
him, you're insensitive shit up again, and I'm just like, nah, whatever.
Well, no, I think most of, at least what I saw, was just level-headed, appreciation of a man who passed. One of them was Sarah Michelle Gellar, who quoted Ralph Waldo Emerson, and I thought it was really amusing because I'm reading this on CNN, and they have her quote on there. And, okay, so somebody commented on her post, so beautifully written and so true. Like, okay, but you know she didn't write that, right? Like, Sarah Michelle Gellar just didn't all of a sudden become the nation's new poet laureate.
Maybe. Hey, maybe she actually was commenting on Ralph Waldo Emerson. Maybe. I'm just sticking up for her.
No, there's not. No. I think you misunderstand. She quotes Ralph Waldo Emerson when talking about Robin Williams. And the poster and the person commenting was like, "Oh, that's so beautiful, so beautifully written."
That's what I'm saying. I'm sticking up for the poster. Perhaps the poster. I said she, assuming, but no, maybe perhaps the poster is commenting on Walfredo Mission rather than Sarah Michelle Gellar. Probably not, but just saying.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Oh, we're that simple.
It was the she that threw me. You said she.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's no mention of the
bad.
person's sex, but what makes you think it was a girl? Moving on.
You
Are there
real
bears
answer?
in New Jersey? Have you ever seen a bear? You've been in New Jersey.
I'm in New Jersey right now.
You're in Jersey right now. Look out your window. Is there a bear? If so, I'll tell you what to
God,
do.
I hope not.
Yeah. When's the last time you checked?
I'm in the car.
See?
So
There could
car's
be a
full of
bear.
windows.
Apparently, bear sightings are on the rise in New Jersey.
Maybe is it in southern Jersey? What cities in Jersey? Tell me more.
Like, I have a map. What?
Oh, no. Well, no, but I'm saying, are they saying where these bear sightings are? Because
Yes.
I doubt there's bears rolling through the streets in Newark.
Yes, they said these bears were spotted in New Jersey.
What's a big state, man? What kind of writers? That's all they said? What shitty writers? In New Jersey? I mean, you could say shit's happening in Michigan, but if it happens in Marquette, I mean,
Look,
like
you've got to use your imagination a little bit, okay? If somebody says, "I hit a deer in Michigan," you don't think of them driving down Woodward. Like, you just got to imagine where the deer live. Where are the bears? Wherever there's a lot of trees, I guess, in New Jersey. I don't know. Okay, here's an example for you. Do you know where West Milford is?
no.
Well, then, fuck you.
Well,
I gave you an
it
exact
means it's not
location. You
anywhere
didn't
I
even
go,
know it.
So it means it's probably in the unpopulated part of New Jersey.
I would assume so, in the less populated part.
In a roundabout way, it answered my question.
Well, apparently that's where a Rutgers University student who was hiking was fatally mauled last September. And there's been a number of bear break-ins.
Does Colbert know about this?
What?
Does Colbert know about
Stephen
this?
Colbert.
Yeah, I know, right?
They are the-
What a time for him to be off the air.
Oh, he's coming back.
No,
Right
I know.
Beginning of September, isn't he?
No, I understand that, but he is currently off the air at a time when bear sightings are on the rise in New Jersey.
We need him the most.
Yes, we need his advice. No, this was a story on. Wow. Hey, here's something for you. Edge sucks. The Edge browser, don't even bother. Doesn't even.
Oh, I thought you meant like the U2 guitarist.
No. I was trying to see where I got the story from. Oh, Reuters. So the story on Reuters, let's see. Where did it go? Yeah, it says, in this story, it says, a homeowner responding to a loud noise found a 200-pound bear munching a bag of cat food in the family room in a West Milford residence. Apparently, it's just West Milford. West Milford's filthy with bears and
In the
milfs.
recliner that having hand down his bare pants.
The police shot the animal dead. Well, they're expanding the. Well, what are you gonna do? I'd shoot the fucking bear.
Tranquilize him.
Yes. Go
All
get.
he was doing
yes.
was all he was hurting was the cat food.
Sure. You go and you get your tranquilizer gun that you frequently carry around with you, whether you're a cop or not. Who the fuck has a tranquilizer gun?
Wait a minute.
Much more likely.
The cops shot him?
The cop shot him.
Was it the black bear?
Yeah.
Yes, these are black bears. That's exactly what they are.
If you're brown, stick around. Black, get back.
There's a polar bear to be alive. There's a polar bear they 7 miles away.
With a warning.
Oh, sorry. I'm cracking myself up over here.
Shit that we laugh at that we're going to hell for. I'll take that for 200, Alex. We shared a mind there, Chris. The minute I was like, wait a minute, the cop shot him?
Thank you for listening, liking, and sharing Unregimented on Facebook and following Unregimented on Twitter at UnregimentedPod. If you like Unregimented, please tell a friend to visit ChristopherMedia.net. You can subscribe to Unregimented on iTunes for free just by clicking through the iTunes banner at ChristopherMedia.net. You can also show your support for Unregimented when you buy something on iTunes just by clicking through the iTunes banner at ChristopherMedia.net. It won't cost you anything extra, and it shows your support for Unregimented. While you're on iTunes, please remember to write a review and rate Unregimented 5 stars. Just click on the iTunes banner at ChristopherMedia.net. Android users can listen to Unregimented for free at ChristopherMedia.net by clicking on the Stitcher radio player on our homepage. You can also listen to Unregimented for free at TuneIn.com or by downloading their free TuneIn radio app. Don't forget, you can always listen to Unregimented for free across any platform just by going to ChristopherMedia.net. Make sure to check out all of the podcasts on ChristopherMedia.net. Mondays and Fridays, you have Unregimented. Reach us at UnregimentedPod on Twitter. Tuesdays and Fridays, you have the Weedsman Podcast. Find those guys at the Weedsman420 on Twitter. Wednesday, you have the Projection Booth, projection-booth.com, or at Pro Boothcast on Twitter. Saturday, you have the Captain's Table at Captain's Podcast on Twitter. You can also check out one of our new shows, well, new to us. It's the Ugly Club Podcast. It's another movie podcast, but these guys go with more of a theme each week rather than just one movie. You can check them out at Ugly Club Podcast on Twitter or uglyclubpodcast.com. If you like Unregimented and want to show your support for Unregimented, you can donate to Christopher Media by clicking through the PayPal button at ChristopherMedia.net. If you use Amazon.com, please click through the Amazon banner at ChristopherMedia.net and bookmark the link. It won't cost you anything extra, and when you buy something, you will show your support for Unregimented. If you're looking to launch your own website, please click through the HostGator banner at ChristopherMedia.net. That's who we use to host Unregimented. When you sign up for HostGator by clicking through the banner at ChristopherMedia.net, you are helping to support Unregimented.
Have you guys heard that Google is renaming itself?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I forget the name.
I think it was Kitchen Fresh Internet, maybe? No, it's Alphabet. Alphabet is so they created a new company, gave it all of Google's money, and had it by Google. I think is the technical way to explain that. And
So why are they?
well, it's like it's just a rebranding, is what it really is. But I guess Alphabet it's going to be the home for more of the Google cars and the more experimental stuff that they're doing, where Google is
Like the
going
mad
to be
scientist, eccentric millionaire type of shit.
Yeah, all the mad scientist shit will be done by Alphabet, and Google just do, internet searches and advertisement probably. But there's a new website that you can go to that's it's Alphabet XYZ, which
And
is a reference.
I saw there was a little. No, I said you were saying there was a little nod to Silicon Valley in the Alphabet XYZ.
Well, the XYZ part of it, yeah, because that was the Hooli website, wasn't it? Hooli XYZ.
Yes.
So are we going to cover this? Are we going to cover this Trump shit or what?
Well, okay, so the last week, I guess as of hearing this, when was the debates? Was it already last week for us?
Last Thursday.
Thursday, yeah. So this is a while back now. Did you watch any of the debates, the Republican debates that they had?
God, no.
No, I didn't either. I mean,
watched the debate? No, watched highlights. Like I think I was watching Sports Center.
Well, what's the fucking point? First of all, it's a fucking joke, and first of all, it's not a debate. How do you can't have a debate with 10 people, right?
Well, it really wasn't a debate. Really, it was more of a what do you call it? A platform for everybody to basically attack Trump, try to tear him down. That way, he's not the front runner anymore.
Right. Yeah.
That's apparently backfiring.
Yeah, sadly. Yeah.
I'm scared. I'm really scared.
At this point, I think what needs to happen is that people who've been sitting around going, yeah, well, it'll never happen. They need to really stop and think because, you might need to take this a little bit more serious than you have been.
Yeah, look, good God, please, no, for the love of God, America, do not do this. This is, we were talking about this before one of the other shows. I don't know if it was recorded or not. This is going to be President Camacho. Don't do this, America. We're already living up to a lot of those things already. This would just be like, it would just prove, unfortunately, Mike Judge is right. We're heading down a dangerous path.
Right. This reminds me of that comic book that I read, Prez, that I was telling you about on the Weedsman, because they all vote for this 18-year-old or 19-year-old girl because she's not really going to win. I just don't want to vote for either of these two other assholes. And she ends up winning by that same method. I mean, I think it's much more, it's a long shot for Trump to ever see the final campaign, honestly. People's interest in him is entertainment, and a lot of it is, he's saying what we want to say.
Schwarzenegger got 2 terms, man.
Yeah.
Just saying, Jesse Ventura, he left office because of term limits, not because he wanted to.
Well,
I'm scared, Paul. I'm scared.
Al Franken, it's not out of the realm of possibility
Wait
for
a
it
minute.
to happen, and it's
Al
really
Franken? He's a smart fucking dude.
Yeah, he was elected to either Congress or the Senate.
He was a congressman, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
but that's different.
He's a comedian.
So
Who the fuck thought a comedian would get elected to Congress? Is what I'm saying.
Sure.
Who the fuck thought a actor would be elected president one day? And we all lived through fucking 8 years of Reagan.
Ronald Reagan, the actor.
The actor? Yeah, exactly. Who's vice president? Jack Benny? Yeah, I mean, at this point, I can't put it past people because there's people that I know who, I mean, they're really, they're out there stomping for him. And I mean, when he came to Birch Run here in Michigan the other day, he's leading in the polls in Michigan by quite a bit for there being, 10 people. Mm-hmm. Well, more than 10 people, actually.
Well, let's look at
on the ballot.
Let's look at his message on this trip. He went after Ford and pointed out the fact that Ford's expansion, what they're doing with their bailout, basically, is expanding in Mexico, and China was the other one. He actually he was interviewed by CNN recently. He said, "We have so much power over China. China has gotten rich off of us. China has rebuilt itself with the money it sucked out of the United States and the jobs that it sucked out of the United States." That's going to resonate with a lot of people.
Yeah, and it's also amazing that he says this, yet his companies have applied for what? Something like 1,100 work visas to bring foreign laborers or foreign workers to his businesses. And I mean, they're the H-2B type visas, which is not the agricultural ones, the ones that basically are compared to indentured servitude. I mean, he wants that's the only hope. Really, he wants some of that cheap, the cracks in his armor get pointed out. That's really it.
He wants some of that cheap Chinese labor to come here to the U.S.
Well, yeah,
that's what he would like.
Well, look, he's got to have enough dirt on him. If someone does their due diligence in digging to get him at least to the point where he's going to have to run as a third party candidate, and the most he'll do is siphon votes from the two major parties.
Right.
I mean, that's basically what happened with Perot.
I think that's another part of the danger that Chris is foreseeing here, because I mean, sure, as many people are attracted to Trump and his message, as just as many that are protesting him actively. Even here in Michigan, there was protesters at the event that he was at. The what was it? Some Lincoln Remembrance of Lincoln thing.
Yeah, if I heard correctly.
I just heard that on the invitation.
So they show there was a photo of a couple protesters, and I'm just using this as an example, and one of them has like this, it's just a mess of yellow yarn with like a little face with like a kind of a screwed up jack-o'-lantern mouth underneath it. So it's like this very crude caricature of how she sees Trump, and it just is no way. But the more clever one is the guy who has a sign that says, with Trump's head on it, and it says, "We shall overcome." And it's a black guy too. But my point in bringing that up, though, is that we're laughing this off. Like, you're right, Rich. There's got to be a whole fucking town's worth of skeletons in his closet. And I'm sure if it actually gets further along, we're going to see a lot more of that, those stories coming forward, because we see it about every candidate. But the people who are opposed to him, the people who are on his side are taking him seriously, and the people who are opposed to him are laughing him off and not actually taking this on. Like, that's the worst you got on Trump is his hair, honestly.
I know, right?
Like, that's a low blow, and it's irrelevant, and you should be able to find some real issues with somebody. I mean, how about he's a fucking racist? Like,
the thing about Trump that worries me is that he has the ability, and I think this was pointed out. I can't remember what it might have been like a show on NPR here locally, but he has the ability to flip the script and get people on his side when he has no earthly right to have people on his side. Like the shit he said about Megyn Kelly. Basically, we all know what he was saying. She's bleeding from her mouth. and maybe some other places. Basically, he just said she's on the rag.
Oh, yeah.
And in the span of what, 6 days, he'd flipped the script so much that she had to go to the media and say, I'm not going to apologize to him. What the fuck are you apologizing to him for? He basically went on national TV and said, you're on the fucking rag.
Right. You apologize for not recusing yourself from the debate when you knew you're on your period.
Yeah, and it's like... That is honestly some Jedi mind trick shit. That is some like art of the deal type bullshit, man. That is like, I mean, that's what worries me is that, yes, he is a shrewd businessman, and that will get you far in this country, especially with the fucking idiots who tend to vote against their own best interest because they hope to one day be rich. And they're not going to be. Upward mobility, for the most part, is it bottlenecks. And for everyone out there who's like, I want to start a company and become a millionaire. Yeah, well, there's a lot more of you that didn't make it than did. Just because you look at this one person and think, well, that one day could be me. Sorry, probably not going to be.
What's the first step to success? Elect a president who knows how to make a lot of money.
Well, and that's the other thing I hear people say who support him. Why would we want poor people in the White House? Don't we want someone who's rich? What the fuck? Okay, so
it should be a factor in so much as a person who is to be president has to be at least competent enough to hold down a decent job and you know, this is an educated person. So yeah, that's why poor people aren't elected to office. That doesn't mean that the richer you are, the more qualified you are by that person's logic.
Point, because the people who are saying this are saying, why would we want a Democrat in the White House? Democrats are poor. I'm sorry. Does Bill Clinton look poor to you? Does fucking Jimmy Carter look poor to you?
Democrats are poor. Really?
But that's their line of that's their rationale is that I'd rather have someone who's rich than poor in the White House. None of these politicians are poor. Like, you're looking at the people who you are stereotyping as their supporters. And I guarantee you that you go to some fucking Trump rallies, there's probably a lot more people without a full set of teeth than at a Bernie Sanders rally. Right. So who are we fucking kidding here on this one? I mean, this is the bullshit rationalization I keep hearing from people to support this moron. And it's scary because they're taking it serious. And who would have thought in 2000 we'd have had a black president 8 years later? I mean, stop and think about that. Chris Rock made an entire fucking bit about it. That is never going to happen in his lifetime. 8 years, 8 fucking years. It seemed like forever when Bush was in office, but 8 years ain't but a drop in the bucket to the history books. I mean, that is fucking insane. So the possibility he could fucking win the nomination. I highly doubt it. Like I said, I think he'll run as a third party candidate, and I think he'll siphon votes off from the major parties, and he'll play his role because the Republicans are going to have to take him seriously sooner or later, and the left can't just keep laughing at him. So they're going to have to work to get his ass off the Republican ticket, make him run as an independent, and then at that point, he'll lose the people who are like, I'll never vote for an independent because it's throwing away your vote. He'll only have his hardcore supporters. And these are people who weren't going to really be happy with either party anyway.
Yeah, but they can't just kick him out. They can't force him to run.
If he doesn't win the nomination, he said he's not going to back the Republican candidate and he'll run independently.
Oh, I see. Yeah, no, in that respect, yes. He's going to, we're probably going to end up seeing that anyway. He's not, but I don't think he's going to get the nomination.
I hope not, but man, dude, there's a lot of people on the right who are just fucking thirsty for a fucking win, dude. I mean, they'll sell their fucking souls to get their guy with that little R beside his name in the fucking White House.
Dude, I hope he gets the nomination because that means that he's taken a lot of other serious Republicans who could actually be dangerous in the position of president off the table.
Hey, no Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
No Rick Santorum.
No Marco Rubio.
No Chris Christie.
No Chris Christie.
Bill Burr had the best rip on Chris Christie I heard this week. He's got a big roast beef head.
I mean, that's a cheap shot, but yeah, he does have a roast beef head.
That's exactly what I thought. Like, his head does look like a side of roast beef.
Well, Bill Maher had a theory that he thinks what's going to happen is what we've discussed. Trump's going to end up losing the nomination in the Republican Party, run as an independent third-party candidate, whatever. And then the Republicans are going to be forced to throw Ted Cruz in there because they're going to have to try to win back some of the Latino votes that they've lost. And if Hillary gets in, they're going to have to throw, I cannot remember her name, I just drew a complete blank. The female that's running for president that's Republican, she was in a debate. There we go. I just completely blanked on her name.
God. Wait a minute.
Carly Fiorina.
There we go. All right, thank you. So Bill Maher's theory is that it'll be Cruz and her, and that will have to, that is to get the fence sitters who, the woman vote, the female vote, and then to try to get back some of the Latinos they've lost, in large part to Trump, because the last poll that they were talking about, 75% of Latinos were like, fuck Trump. I mean, he's not exactly endearing himself to an entire, ethnic group. So let's be honest here. He's not really playing the game the way it's supposed to be played.
I don't think he fucking cares. Like, you hear the man talk.
Oh, yeah. I'm rich, and I'm about to show you how rich I am. He actually said that when he announced his run for presidency.
There are no fucks given when that guy speaks. Normally, I'm a fan of it, but just hearing what he says, it's like, no, man, no, do not put him in charge. For the love of God, do not put him in public office.
Here's the thing: has he spoke at all about policy?
No.
Oh, Trump?
Yeah.
He's given absolutely zero information on how he would do anything. He's talked a lot about what he would do.
Build a wall along the Mexican border with a big door in the middle.
No, I think that was a joke.
That's as close as I've heard him come to explain any of his policy behind the ideas that he loosely throws out there.
No, he's shown that he doesn't have, as much as he's talked in the last however many months we've been listening to this nonsense come out of his mouth. There's been no solid, concrete plan for this is how we get out of, our financial mess, or how we deal with terrorism, how we deal with racism in this country, or any kind of inequality. None of that. It's all about, it's these grand plans where, like, I would like to do all this and this and that, but who's he going to find to execute these plans? Because he clearly has no idea how to do it on his own.
Well, that's what scares me, is that people I know are out there stumping for him already, and he's all sizzle and no fucking steak. There's no substance to anything he's saying, and he already has people who are willing to go out and door knock and make phone calls for him on his behalf. I mean, that's right there, Chris. You said it, President Camacho.
Running out of burrito toppings and shit. No, he says burrito covering. That's it. No, shit's fucked up.
That's even better.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Rich, do you?
Like, I don't want to sound all Alec Baldwin here, but man, like, Canada's right there. We all live by it.
I don't think they'd have us.
Yeah, let's invade Canada.
They might have Aaron.
Hey, what are you guys doing here? Dude, we elected Donald Trump. Can we just crash here for the next 4 years? Can we crash on your couch, Canada?
Hey, speaking of crashes, did you hear about the Tracy Morgan case? Remember the guy who plowed into the back of their...
I heard he was up for like 2 days or some shit.
Yes, that. So he did... he was on a 12-hour shift, right? Working for Walmart. He's driving on a 12-hour shift. Drove for like 16 or 18 hours prior to that on his own time.
Damn.
Like, I'm not even sure how that works.
Well,
like, what the fuck was he doing?
Here's the thing: is he an over-the-road driver? Or is he a local driver? If he's a local driver and he's driving a dedicated run, then
no, it was 12 hours. He decided he drove 12 hours before work and then started a 14-hour shift.
That sounds like a local driver, meaning that he probably runs, dedicated runs, et cetera, maybe from point A to point B with he stops and drops off his freight and then turns around and goes home.
So you're saying that he was working, but just now working for Walmart.
No, what I'm saying is it sounds like he's a local driver for Walmart, not one that, for example, one that starts in Michigan and ends in California 3 days later. Like, he might hit Michigan, parts of Michigan from the southeast part of Michigan to the southwest, might go down into Indiana.
They are clearly stating here that he worked a 14-hour shift for Walmart.
Well, then Walmart's having a drivers break DOT law.
And prior to that he drove 12 hours. Now, it might be the case that he was actually asked or coaxed by Walmart to work for them for, 26 hours straight. And this is their way of covering up, saying, oh, no. We only scheduled him for this. Any other driving that he did, that was on his own time.
Well, here's the thing. Walmart is a huge company.
Yes.
All their trucks, I'm guaranteeing you, even the owner-operators who lease on to companies that I know, like my father was, they have to put Qualcomms in their truck. They can tell you how fast they were going, when that truck was idle, when that truck was rolling, when that truck was on, when that truck was off. They can even tell you what side of the street the truck is parked on. Mm-hmm. Where are all these records? Let's just real simple. If it's a criminal case, they should have been subpoenaed by the prosecutor. They should have been put in it should be public knowledge as far as when he presents them in court. And if Walmart did say run over what DOT gives you, Department of Transportation gives you the allotted time to run, then Walmart needs to fucking be responsible for that. Bottom line.
But finding proof of that is the problem. That might be what is going on here. But what they're differentiating here is, yes, they're saying, yes, he drove 26 hours. Right?
Just not for us.
Walmart's saying, yes, he drove 26 hours. He only drove 14 hours for us. And that's totally within regulations, so we're not at fault.
Well, unless the DOT laws have changed, you're only allowed 11 hours on the road in any shift. Then you have to take X amount of time off. Supposedly, they want you to have downtime so you can rest, get some sleep, whatever. Yeah, then you have to start back up.
Right.
So I'd love to see this guy's logbook. 2, I'd love to see the Qualcomm records. And 3, I want to know what that dispatcher and him had, what conversation that dispatcher and him had that said, go ahead and run a 14-hour fucking shift. Because that is right there, no. I mean, you guys...
You're saying even the 14-hour shift is not acceptable.
No, maybe if you're driving local in a box truck, but if you are driving a tractor trailer, if you got a fifth wheel and a 48-foot trailer, yeah, you no longer fall within state or whatever. You fall within federal guidelines, and DOT is federal.
Oh, here, so there's some more details on how this went down. I'll just read this to you from CNN. Roper began his waiting period on the night of June 5th and drove 800 miles in his own vehicle from his home in Georgia to a Walmart facility in Smyrna, Delaware, where he logged in for duty at 11:22 a.m. on June 6th. He made deliveries and pickups throughout the day and was making his final delivery for his shift when the wreck happened at about 12:54 a.m. So, yeah, almost 14 hours later. About a half hour short of his 14-hour duty limit, said NTSB. So, according to this is what CNN has on their site. This was the NTSB saying there was a 14-hour limit on him. Now, maybe the fact that I think maybe the difference here is that you were talking straight, and this is a guy who's making multiple drop-offs, right? So maybe they have more leniency to say, okay, you can work 14 hours, but you're taking breaks in between. But if you drive straight through nonstop, you can't go more than 11.
Yeah, that's what. Okay, because the way I can explain it is my uncle drives a dedicated local, quote unquote, local route. He drives out of Chattanooga, delivers into Georgia for a company, and he makes stops. Now I don't know because it's been many years since I've been in a truck with a truck driver and had to know the laws and everything, and they change a lot, but I don't believe that you make a stop and a drop-off counts as your rest time.
Well, I'm just telling you, this is from the NTSB, that he had a 14-hour duty limit.
Okay, well, then, yeah, I don't know. That's awful convenient. Okay, so he did all this driving on his own time. He gets up there, Walmart goes, we gave him his 14-hour limit, and he drove that, and then he had this accident.
They had to have drug tested this guy, right? I mean,
that's the first time.
Is this guy a fucking speed freak? What the fuck is he doing driving 800 miles to get to his work to drive a truck? That's just insane behavior, right? That's not...
No, that's not fucking... That's absolutely not normal. Right. That makes no sense. I mean, here's the thing. If it was... I mean...
He's like a sociopath. This is like complete disregard for his own life and the life of anybody else that he might plow into, which he did. He killed fucking Jimmy Mack.
Yeah, but once again, that's if you take what Walmart's saying at face value. Why is he driving 14? You said 1,400 miles.
No, I'm sorry, 800 miles.
800. Why
over
is
the
he
course
driving
of 14
800
hours.
miles? You're telling me that Walmart doesn't have another driver who's closer to cover that? I mean, any dispatcher I know, and dispatchers will tell you to run illegal. They don't give a shit. I've listened to them on speakerphone tell truck drivers run illegal. We don't give a shit. Oh, you're overweight. We don't care. Slide your fucking axle and do your best and just drive past the way station if you have to. Shit like that.
Yeah, but think about it from this respect.
Walmart don't have another driver to come in and cover his shift?
Yeah, but okay, so from whoever was the dispatcher for Walmart or whatever, he knows that he gave an assignment to a certain guy, and then that guy showed up for work on time, right? It's not like it would be common practice to like grill a guy about how much sleep he got before coming into work. I mean, what could you really do about that?
Yeah.
What's that?
If your company doesn't give a shit, then yeah.
How would they know?
They wouldn't care.
How would they know?
How would they know? It's called ask a fucking question. Take a look at the guy. Does the guy look like he just drove 800 fucking miles?
Come on.
Yeah, no, right?
No, he keeps it together enough to check in and go, okay, there's my truck. Drives off, and then he fucking falls asleep while he's out on the road. I mean, it's not like they're with him the whole time.
Well,
I'm not trying to disagree with you. Just
somewhere.
I'm not trying to disagree with you on the principle of it. I'm saying in
saying is
practicality, that's not a very
up.
manageable situation. And you're right, it doesn't add up. It does. I'm not sure if I believe this story of him being up that long, because if that's true, this guy's a total sociopath. That's not normal behavior.
Or a speed addict.
Or something.
Just chewing yellow jackets every 2 hours, washing them down with Red Bull.
Yeah, well, the Red Bull maybe, but yeah, the other shit, yeah, you get caught doing that, you're fucked.
And meanwhile,
it's one of those things, it's like they look the other way on. They really do.
And Walmart's defense on this is, well, they weren't wearing seatbelts in their limo van.
Yeah, okay. See, this is why shit like this, like, it gives me, like...
That's why we can't have nice things, Rich.
I need to pop another blood pressure pill. Really?
Right.
Fucking your driver driving your company vehicle slammed into a limo, killed one person, maimed another for life, and they weren't wearing seatbelts. Okay, have you ever seen a fucking tractor trailer accident? I mean, most people that get hit by them fucking things, their lives are fucked in one way or another if they still have a life. I mean, that's just all there is to it. Those things are just fucking tons and tons of a guided missile hitting something.
Right. All you could say is that, okay, so you got a tractor trailer driving 65 miles an hour, doesn't fucking stop, plows right into the back of this limo van. All you could say for sure is that if they had their seatbelts on, their injuries would have been different. Maybe somebody else would have died. Maybe they all would have lived. Maybe they all would have died. Who the fuck knows? It's a fucking it's carnage either way.
And am I correct? If I'm remembering the story correctly, they were in a limo in the back.
Yeah.
Okay. Show me the law that says you have to have your seatbelt on in the back of the limo.
Show me where the fucking seatbelts are in the limo, because I ain't seen them.
Yeah,
I've been in a limo. I never seen no seatbelts.
I don't remember. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, maybe they were there and I just didn't notice. But
yeah, that's this is that finger pointing shit. It's like, oh my god, really? I mean, Walmart. This is the equivalent of Walmart saying she shouldn't have dressed like that if she didn't want to get raped.
I was just thinking that. Yeah,
right.
Walmart
that's
going,
fine.
You shouldn't have worn that dress.
You know,
shouldn't have been in that neighborhood that time of night.
Right. To Walmart, it's like the difference between, I don't know, how many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it gets it from possibly an 8-figure case or a 9-figure case down to 8 figures, right? I mean, it's just all to save money. Like, you were going to point out as many things as the other party could have done to prevent this horrible death from happening, these horrible injuries from happening, in order to pay out less money for something that we're probably responsible for anyway.
Exactly. See, and this just shows me how out of control big corporations have gotten. Why didn't Walmart just go to fucking his family and go, here's a check. What's it going to take? We need to end this immediately.
Well, how could we?
This does not need to be going to court.
Right.
It does not.
Right. Walmart has fucking money, and they could have got in front of this and not had it gone to court and done right by the people that they wronged. But, you know, it's
not even in Walmart's opinion. I guarantee you or in their view, it wouldn't even have been, if they'd have done that, to do right by someone. It'd have been just, we need to keep this out of the public mind.
Right. No,
you're
absolutely
this as quiet
right.
as possible.
Yeah. To not have the PR savvy to get in front of something so basic. I mean,
I don't even think it's PR savvy, man. I think it's just, they just think, fuck it.
It's a lack
Walmart,
of savviness.
don't fuck with us.
Right.
It's almost like
Just
a cavalier attitude towards the situation.
It's like they don't even have a PR department. They're just a huge corporation that's like, we don't have to explain ourselves. We just steamroll over people.
Mm-hmm. And that's... this is where we really need Jay here for this topipic. But yeah, that's where it's just like...
we're going buck wild on Walmart without him. Feels weird.
Somewhere his ears are burning. He's like, oh, the bat phone's going off, but I'm so tired. Oh.
Well, okay, speaking of trials, I read an interesting story in New Hampshire. They just passed a law that is going to it's going to require that during the sentencing part of a criminal trial, there's the option for, let's say, a murder happens. They give the family of the victim a chance to say to the court and to the jury just how they feel about it, basically. And this happened, so this was all based off a specific case. There was a guy who was being sentenced for the murder of a 19-year-old college student, and he said he requested not to attend his sentence, and his quote was that he didn't want to hear the victim's family yell and whine and bitch and moan.
Really?
And apparently there's no law saying that you have to attend your sentencing. So they changed it and said, okay, that's something we overlooked. Now it's mandatory. If you're getting sentenced for a crime and, the family members of the victim choose to stand up and say their piece in court, you have to be there listening to it as well.
See, I thought it was mandatory already to be there for your sentencing. So
right. I thought you would have... unless... I'm sure there's extreme circumstances that they could make exceptions for, but yeah.
Do you remember when Jeffrey Dahmer went through his sentencing?
What's that?
You remember when Jeffrey Dahmer went through his sentencing?
No.
You don't remember that? Like,
I wasn't there.
The family of the victims, like, this is famous footage. One chick fucking lost her mind and had to be restrained. I mean, basically went after him. So it seems like if he could have opted out of that, he probably should have. His lawyers probably should have been like, hey, Jeff, this ain't going to be pretty, man. Like, you not only drugged and raped their family member, you then chopped them up and started eating them, and then tried to plead insanity and say you were out of control. This might not look well for you. See, I don't know, man. That's strange to me. I just assumed, hey, once you're found guilty, aren't you basically property of the state at that point?
Right. This is the guy who they have in a cell, and when they bring him out, he's in chains.
Yeah.
And he says, I don't want to go to my sentencing. And nobody says to him, too fucking bad?
No shit.
I know, right?
Like, if I was a guard on duty, and I'd be like, come on, time to go to your sentence. Oh, I don't want to hear him whine and bitch and moan. I wouldn't even think of what the law was and be like, get your ass up. Are you fucking kidding me? You're going to court. I don't care what you have to say.
Hey, Billy Bob, it's time to walk the Green Mile.
Right.
You know what? I just don't feel like it today. Having a bad hair day, last meal, steak was a little overcooked. Can we just put this off till tomorrow?
Yeah, no, Rick. You do not get that option.
It's just fucked up. You have less options if you're sitting in fucking a city jail for a traffic ticket, you know what I'm saying? Than you do if you commit a crime like murder or something, the sentencing phase comes around and it's, I just don't feel like being there. I don't really feel like being told how much of an asshole I am today. I'm good.
You do have an option for getting out of court. You plead guilty, and then they close the case.
I know, right? Oh my God! See, Jesus! This is why I love our legal system, because it's just I have a friend who's right now studying for the bar, and when I talk to him every once in a while, he just tells me some of this shit, and I'm just like, this is absurdity. Like there is so much bullshit involved. I don't know how are you going to do your job and look yourself in the mirror and think you're actually doing something that benefits society? I just don't get it. And he's just, well, that's why I'm going into family law and blah, blah, blah. And I'm, protect elderly people and all this bullshit. And I'm like, all right, dude, whatever, more power to you. But it's just fucking nuts, man. I don't know.
Sorry, I'm killing flies over here. I was listening. What else was in the news today? The Ferguson shooting. That happened on Monday. This was on there was protests marking the anniversary of Michael Brown's death. And an 18-year-old man, Tyrone Harris, was shot there when he pulled out a gun and tried to do I don't know what. Did you guys see any of the footage? There is some actual footage of what you can't really clearly see, but
I saw still shots. He was wearing a white shirt. Looked
Yeah.
like he was in front of a store and he had a gun in hand.
right.
But I mean, here's
Well, like-
the ultimate question: did he pull it out in the vicinity of a police officer?
Yes.
The end.
He.
I mean,
Well, it's not the end for him yet. He's actually in critical condition. Last I heard, in the hospital.
the
but
metaphorical end. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the police say that they shot the teen after he unleashed a remarkable amount of gunfire. That's a quote from one of the officers. Now, I guess the family, Tyrone's father, Harris, says, from what I heard, he was there with some friends and they had a confrontation. They started shooting at the friends, and he just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. Harris's father, Tyrone, said. Okay, I'm not clear on what he's trying to say here, but it sounds like he was saying, no, he didn't mean to shoot no cops. He was trying to shoot his friends.
yeah, he wanted to shoot regular people.
No,
he didn't want to shoot police.
No, this is just a black-on-black crime that you're trying to turn into a cop killer thing.
I pretty much picked up the same thing that people were saying that it was an altercation between him and some other people, and he brandished his gun, and the cop saw it. And I've even heard someone say that he was actually hit before the police officer opened fire on him. Or the police opened fire on him. So
So a private citizen shot him first.
Yeah, I've even heard that. Like this is where I'm really no good at the moment, because this is one of those stories that I'm just like, ugh. Like I knew I should have read up on it, but I'm always tempted to scroll down after the story,
and you can't.
And I'm just like, oh, click, I can't do it.
Out of all the unfortunate incidents of citizens being shot by cops, I know Jay hates it when I call them the citizens and then refer to the others as cops, like they're not citizens. Yeah, but of all the recent incidents that we've heard about, this one doesn't seem so bad. I mean, if this story is what it is and what it seems to be from the video footage, if I was a cop, I probably would have shot the guy, even if he wasn't pointing the gun at me or my cop buddies. You're in a big crowd.
Unleashing the remarkable amount of gunfire that he's endangering other citizens. Isn't it now your job to stop him from unleashing this remarkable amount of gunfire? Remarkable amount of gunfire.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure that he was shot. Like, well, maybe what Rich said is true. Maybe like somebody else shot him. Like they both drew. He got shot, drew his weapon out. The cops saw him, shot at him. He started shooting back at the cops. I think it seems to be how this went down.
I mean, if you pull out a weapon and you pull it at anybody,
if you pull out
in the vicinity of an officer or the officer itself, I mean, we know how this story ends in the hospital. Right. If you're lucky.
Yeah, if you're lucky, yes. And see,
and even in the movies, like how many times shit happens like this in the movies? Guy gets shot and he goes to like pull out a weapon on somebody, and then the cops show up. What does he do? Puts his hands up, puts his gun down on the ground, or just falls over because the guy's shot. You know, you don't turn your weapon on the 8 other people in the vicinity that all have weapons ready to draw on you. Like he'd still be shot, but maybe he wouldn't be in critical condition today if he just, when he saw that all these cops had drawn on him, put his weapon down.
Maybe it would just be shoot to wound instead of shoot to kill.
Maybe. Who knows? Well, he's still not dead. We're talking about him like he's dead. He's still alive. Who knows what's going to happen to the poor guy? But kind of an idiot.
This is what I've taken from this story, because my buddy who is a cop, and I would
not a citizen.
I would say that probably about a year, maybe a little bit more than a year ago, maybe like a year and a half ago, I had a conversation with him, like a couple hour long conversation, and he came across as very level-headed, very understanding of people's, weariness of police.
It sounds
was able to see both sides of a situation. Yeah. That's gone now. That's gone. Like, I don't know if he's speaking or posting out of anger, but if this is him and this is just how his view has changed, like, he is just, there's no more level-headedness. There's no more, like, I can see both sides of the issue.
He's more
about
emotional.
Almost anything. He's like, fuck this. I'm tired of being attacked. I'm out here. I put my life on the line every fucking day, and everyone looks at me like I'm some racist asshole trying to kill black people, and this type of shit, blah, blah, blah. And I'm through with it. Fuck them. Fuck everybody. And I'm just like, wow. So if that is how he feels, and he was a fairly liberal leaning police officer to begin with, how do the ones who weren't willing to look and see, the other side of the coin,
okay,
how are they feeling at this point?
Not to put your buddy on blast, but that is the biggest pile of horseshit I ever heard.
Okay.
And okay, let's say you belong to a fraternity, and not only in your local chapter or whatever they have, but all across the nation, guys who belong to this fraternity are being outed as being racist, horribly racist, which has happened, right? What do you do? Do you just say, well, fuck it. Everybody looks at me as a racist now because I'm in this fraternity. Maybe you quit the fucking fraternity. Maybe it means so much to you that you try and change something from the inside and try and change the image and try and weed out the bad seeds. Or maybe you just fucking quit. But to just give in and go with the flow is what it sounds like his position is.
I don't know about all that. I think his position is he's we've talked about him before. He's the one that he worked at in a major city in Indiana. Then he was like, nope, I'm not doing this anymore. This isn't real police work. And he went to a smaller town, and it's a very small police force. And from what I'm gathering that he's getting treated right off jump more and more like, okay, he's done something wrong. Even at routine traffic stops. And I mean, this is a guy who, because of what I'm about to say, I won't name him at all, but he's like, I don't bust people for fucking weed. Now, if you got a couple fucking bales of this shit, yeah, you're going to go to fucking jail. But I don't, he's like, I don't walk around looking to be Billy Badass, shit like that. But people, like, one of the stories he said is, he walked up and he asked for a guy's ID, and this guy was like, you have no right to ask me for my ID. I'm recording you, blah, blah, blah. And immediately just started hammering at him. And he's like, what the fuck did okay, this is why I pulled you over. Do you know why I pulled you over? This is why, blah, blah, blah. He goes, I didn't ask to search his car. This guy's, reading the Prison Planet fucking, manifesto of what you say the minute a police officer walks up. Am I being detained? Am I being detained?
Right.
And all this shit. And it's like, I can understand where he's like, this is bullshit, man.
Keep acting like that, you're gonna be.
Yeah, you're not exactly endearing yourself to the police officer. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, once again, he is biracial. He's like, I understand. I grew up in Detroit, and I grew up till I was a certain age, and I grew up in the suburbs till I was a certain age. And I know that you get treated differently depending on if that officer's racist or not. I understand that. But at the same time, he's walking up to a situation and he's getting hammered. And yeah, dude, I have to say, if just because of your job, you're treated a certain way constantly, you're going to start to resent being treated that way. And you're going to be like, this is bullshit. I mean, I don't understand how that is not.
And then quit.
Well, I mean, who knows? That might be down the fucking line. Last I knew, he was still going to college, looking at furthering his degree. So he might end up on the other side of the police officer, sitting there going, when you called for a lawyer, I showed up. I don't know.
Any person stepping into a situation where there's prejudice involved has to work at least twice as hard to overcome that. And in a situation like this, either the way I see it, and again, not a cop, never done the job, and I'm not specifically just trying to go after your buddy, because I think we're using him as an example for a lot of the police officers out there. But if you're not willing to do the work that it now takes to double down on this, to overcome people's prejudice of you, then maybe this isn't the job for you, and you should seek other employment.
But at the same time, you have to understand, him and I go back 20 years. This could be just him venting to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm trying to separate this from you and your friendship and him, and just talk about the greater thing, because I think that's a good example of how a lot of cops probably think. Right, the majority of cops, I would say. I would say you have your radical, racist, out of control, shooting unarmed people cops, and then you have your super cops that are, can't be daunted or are always going above and beyond and know the people in their neighborhood or their beat or whatever it might be, and feel like they're actually making a change in their society. And then you have this big mass of the in-betweeners who are much like your buddy, who are jaded, who are sick of being looked at as totalitarian assholes and racists, and I can sympathize with that, but I think maybe we need to figure out if these people can overcome that, or maybe find a job that suits them better.
Well, I what I'm going on is, like I said, what he said, which very well could have been just him venting. You know what I'm saying? This is just, you know how it is. You get pissed off, you say the most outlandish shit.
Absolutely.
That you don't mean. But I'm also going by, like I said, when I was pulled over just recently, I've never, as an adult, now as a teenager, yes. In a car full of teenagers, yes. I've had cops walk up with their weapon drawn by their side. But as an adult, I've never had that happen. And I'm just like, wow. And the area I work in, I see people pulled over all the time. I sat at a red light today and watched the guy behind me get pulled over at a red light. He pulled off, and the cop got out and had his weapon out and was walking up on him. And I'm like, is that standard operating procedure now? I mean, used to be, yeah, you had your hand on it, you were ready, but to pull the shit out? I mean, now, once again, I don't know what he was pulled over for. Guy could have had fucking 15 warrants for violent crimes or, a record. I don't know. But still, it's just like, I don't remember seeing this shit like I was and feeling the tension. Like we have officers that come into my job, and there's some that's like you can feel the tension coming off them in waves. And I'm like, is that the people we really want patrolling the streets here? We want these people this agitated? Because they're already in a mood of looking for some shit. That's the nature of the job. Now you agitate them and you throw them out in the street. What is it you said around this time last year when the Michael Brown shit first hit? If you walk around acting like a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's not my quote, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, you said it, and it's an apt way to describe it. If you have a cop walking around looking for fucking trouble and wanting to be the dude who, takes care of the trouble, and I'm not talking about looking for people breaking the law, I'm talking about looking for any little excuse to go the fuck off, he's going to find it.
Well, the other thing too is that when, as a citizen, when you're so used to the police, looking to bust you on something, then you're naturally, like, people just get nervous around cops when they're completely innocent of everything, right? And some of that's just authority that they have a hard time dealing with, and you get a little bit of an adrenaline rush because you have to feel like this is going to be confrontational in some way. But a lot of that is this guy going to fuck with me? Am I going to be, the next one up on YouTube getting shot?
Mm-hmm. No, and I totally understand that, because when I worked a job where I had to work with police, naturally you're sitting there's a lot of paperwork, there's some downtime, you're going to just shoot the shit. And, talking to them, they would be like, I'm like, man, I'm going to be honest with you guys get behind me and I'm not on the job, I'm instantly nervous, like, am I at 10 and 2? Am I swerving in my lane? And he's like, be honest with you, most people who are innocent will get nervous around a cop. It's when I walk up on someone who's cool, calm, and collected, that's the person I'm probably worried about. Yeah. Criminals are the ones who, they're so used to dealing with us, they don't get nervous around us anymore.
Right.
He goes, your average taxpayer, you can rattle them real easy just by pulling up behind them. But people who've been in and out of the system know, and know how to play the game, they're like, oh, what the fuck ever, dude. Like, they'll look at you right in the face, cool as a cucumber, and lie to you, and you have no idea whether they're telling the truth or not. He goes, your average citizen, they have so many fucking tells, it's ridiculous, Do you know how fast you were going? No, I have no idea. You're lying your ass off. I can tell right now. In fact, you're sweating like a pregnant whore, or a whore in church, tells me fucking everything I need to know.
A pregnant whore in church.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. But to me, it's just like, it's kind of sad, because I know that, he always wanted to be a police officer. He always wanted to be a police officer, as far as I've ever seen in 20 years of knowing this man, for the right reasons. Yeah. He wanted to better his community. He wanted to do real police work, not bullshit revenue collecting like they've been basically reduced to. I mean, if you're a beat cop and you're in a car, your job is pretty much to collect revenue for whatever city or county you work for, or state if you're a statey.
Well, the good news is that, if you want to be a cop because you want to help people, then there's actually quite a number of different ways that you can help people in this nation and in others. Some people, though, I'm not talking about your buddy, but some people want to be a cop because they want to shoot people, or just have the power to shoot people, or just feel like they have authority over somebody else because everybody else has shat on them their whole lives.
And to quote Doug Stanhope, if you're one of those assholes who want to go around killing people with impunity, join the fucking army.
Right. We've got a job for you.
Yeah, exactly.
We already have
kill
this
people. Yeah,
we have this
sign
whole
up.
system of killing people outside of our country and of other colors. It's great. Go join it.
Yeah, and even if you only do your little fucking 3 or 4 year hitch, you can get out and go get hired by Blackwater and go do it,
Right.
and make even more money than you did in the military.
And have less restrictions.
Oh yeah.
And
Don't
have
to answer to
absolutely
everybody.
zero oversight.
That's I don't know, man. It's getting to the point where, and this is just me. I don't know if other people are getting to this point, but I'm almost becoming numb to these stories anymore. Like for a minute, I was like, whoa, wow. I never thought I'd see this in my lifetime. People like seriously going, hey, look, take a look at this shit. But now it's just like every week another story comes out, and
I don't know if I feel so much numb. It's like surreal.
well, it's just like what's going to happen now, because they just keep coming out and nothing changes.
Right.
You know, I mean,
It feels like nothing but it's nothing but ominous to me now. Where like this is going to be something that we're going to look back on and say, look, it was all there in front of us. We saw all the steps leading up to whatever X is, some huge fucking riot. Somebody burns down a police station. I don't fucking know. I don't want to give anybody any ideas, so I'm not going to elaborate. But you know, there's some at a certain point, the situation is. We're either going to learn how to fix it, which doesn't seem like we're making any headway on that, or it's going to become an unattainable situation that will just blow up on us.
See, I
and
just
do some
honestly don't see
permanent
it.
damage in this
I
country.
don't see an end game for this that ends well. It's one of those things. I foresee it getting a lot worse before it gets better, and that's got me worried because, like I said before many times, you know, I have a wide variety of friends, an eclectic group. And, you know, how long until something like this hits home in my group of friends to where it's no longer, you know, people you don't know on TV you're seeing. Now it's hit so close to home. It's like, all right, what, you know, at that point I'm going, well, this could have been stopped. What could we have done?
Well, you know, a lot of people like to prop up the idea of this country is great because we can change leadership, even from a Democrat to a Republican, without violence, right? Which is something, because there's a lot of other nations out there where they can't have smooth transitions of power without a lot of people dying. But anytime that real change has happened in this nation, there's been a lot of violence and a lot of bloodshed leading up to and after that change.
Yeah, and here's what's really starting to worry me is that the people, it's not just the militia types and the, you know, super idealistic, willing to die for my beliefs and my cause types. It's getting to be more and more, I'm hearing people I would consider average everyday people get to the point where they're just like, you know, I'm sick of this shit, and they're on opposite sides of the subject, and they're and they're just wanting to scrap. They're looking for an excuse to fucking start going at each other. And it's like, that's not a good combination if you mix that all up in a bowl and try to serve it to, you know, the American people. We're not exactly known for our patience and, you know, sensible. You get a group of people together, it's not like, you know, we're going to be sensible and say, let's sit down and talk about this. No, we're going to have mass fucking chaos. And it's just going to take, really, I'm surprised this hasn't happened yet. I'm surprised private citizens, these like, you know, Minutemen, former military people who volunteer to go and watch in Ferguson and, you know, watch over stores and everything. I'm surprised they haven't just popped a fucking another private citizen yet, because when that happens, that's when all hell's going to break loose. And I'm not talking like some, you know, Zimmerman type shit. I'm talking about a group of protesters, a group of fucking these people that are protecting, you know, whatever, the Constitution. I don't understand how they're protecting the Constitution by being out there in Ferguson waving guns around with angry protesters, but whatever. And violence erupts, and then it escalates, and then the next thing you know, what are the cops going to do? They're going to have to go in and just start clearing everybody out. And that's just not going to be a good scene. And both sides are going to have their excuses. See, they mowed us down.
That is a grim prediction. I can't say I disagree with you in the least that we're going to see something like this in this nation's future if we don't get ahead of this issue. But we don't really have a good track record of getting ahead of things, which I guess kind of goes back to my previous point. We let it get to the point of violence before real change happens.
And it's just, we are, as much as we'd like to think we're a proactive country, for the most part, when it comes to shit like this, we are very much...
Are you kidding me?
We're reactive. We're
going to have to see...
We're reactionary. That's all there is to it.
We're going to have to see Florida underwater and people being eaten by sharks before we do anything about climate change as a nation. There's no way we're getting ahead of
idiots
any
that go,
issue
it
like
snowed.
this.
What happened to global warming?
Right. Well, I think it's a great spot to wrap it up this week.
Oh, this is so grim.
Yes. You're doomed, all of you. Goodbye.
Yeah. Sleep tight, everybody. Get your guns while they still can, for the government takes them. Oh, see?
It's rubbing off on you.
Yeah, I know, right? Pay attention to the news for one day.
I know, right? I'm just like, fuck.
But everybody, if you're new, thanks for hanging out. Jay will be back soon. We're real bummer again this week. Both shows.
No, I think that was I think we had inspiring conversations both times, and we spoke very frankly. I don't really think it was serious, grim issues in a lot of cases, but I don't know if it was a bummer.
I don't know. I would really like, I highly doubt he would do it, but I would really like to get my buddy on for at least a segment at one point. But I just don't know if he would be comfortable doing it because, like I said, and like you said, Aaron, if he comes on and he wasn't just venting and this is the way he feels, if you pose the question to him, well, then why don't you quit? I mean, that could get ugly quickly.
Right.
So
that's exactly what I was thinking, because then I'm not just going to shut up and and not state my opinion all of a sudden. That's not been known to happen in many instances.
Yeah, exactly. And touching on the former episode, it would most likely be over the internet through a Skype connection, so everybody could get their internet tough guy balls on.
Ooh, I don't have to look him in the eyes? Oh, I'm taking him out.
What you gonna do? Hit the red button? Hang up on me?
All right.
All right, then.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening, and we will catch you on Friday.
See ya. Thanks
All
for
right,
listening.
later.
If you enjoy this show and want more people to know about it, head on over to iTunes, leave a comment, and rate it 5 stars. Make sure you like and share us on Facebook, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Just search for Christopher Media. Thank you in advance for supporting Christopher Media by clicking on the PayPal button and by clicking through to all the sponsors who support ChristopherMedia.net. Most importantly, we would like to take the time to extend an extra special thanks to you. Christopher Media could not exist without your support. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net, and thank you for listening. Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
The sweet aromas of the apple fritter, cinnamon roll, and blueberry muffin are hard to resist. So making it home without reaching in your McDonald's bag is no easy task.